Hello everybody and welcome to the SMB of the week. As always, I'm gonna start off on the DXY. And same as previous weeks, we've been ranging between a monthly zone, which is still bearish, where we have lower lows, lower highs, a little nick right here, of which we formed a bearish W with again impulse correction, impulse to the downside, reacting nicely on the zone, and then we came back to the latest lower high right here, of which we can potentially form a reaction. Last week the bias on the DXY was quite bullish, as we had this bullish zone right here, and as expected we had this nice bullish momentum to the upside, where we come again to the monthly zone. And there is two options: or we will just push through and go to the next zone right here, or this impulse can get some relief to form and finish this bullish M to go to the next zone. So as for now, the DXY can go both ways, but since we are on the monthly zone, my bias is mostly bearish at the moment, until we come back to this zone or this zone, where we can expect the bulls to kick in again. That brings us to the first setup of the week, which is GBP CHF short. Starting off from the monthly, what is playing in our advantage is that we have a big market trend to the downside. And if we zoom out, we can see that this market trend has been playing out since 2018. So what do I want to do? I want to follow the trend. So what is the only thing on the monthly that can play against us is that we have a potential fib completion right here, or a fib completion on the bigger structure on the -27 right here. And potentially, since we're going in the last week of the month, a bullish candle close right here. But for me, the monthly is mostly an indication, and I mainly just don't want zones against us. So for me, the fact that we're in a nice bearish downtrend is a very nice indication to go and continue on the weekly. What can we see is that we formed a couple of weeks ago a lower low right here, a lower high, a lower low, very impulsively, where we came back on the weekly to the zone right here, ending the week with a little wick where the bears reacted to the zone right here. The weekly is very clear, and I would want to take this right to the downside until the weekly -27 fib completion to get a weekly TP. And also the daily confirms this, where we have the daily with us. So we have the weekly with us and the daily with us. So this confirms that we can trail until the weekly TP. Also on the daily, we have nice impulses, corrections, impulse, corrections, impulse, and correctively back to the weekly zone. We just didn't hit the daily right here to take a trade on the 100 level, but when the 4-hour forms, this is perfectly still possible and can play again as an extra advantage for us. But again, this is not necessary, because if we go to the 4-hour, this trade can be perfectly valid as a weekly 4-hour, where I can see possibly two things: a bearish W right here, or a nice head and shoulder on the weekly, forming nicely like this, in which case the daily zone will be tapped and we can trail down nice to the downside. So that was my SMB for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some valuable lessons, and see you all next week.